Okay, so welcome to the new session, and this time we have a new question. So we have already done too many practices or identifying question. So what is my purpose today is to let you to the next level. And next level in the sense, I want you all to indulge into the dimensions of the question today, and so that eventually we'll all going to focus on introduction. Okay, so what is my intent? No? Gut feeling says, looking this question, most of you will fail to find the core demand of the question. This is my calculation. Na? Maybe I am not going to be correct and fail to find this from you, but what is my understanding? Most of you will fail to find the real demand of this question. So prove me wrong, put your point, what do you think, what is another, and try to write in the chat box, or you can speak up also. Give me your point of view about this question in chat box, okay, comment box, or verbally also you can do this. चलो चलो try करो. Okay, I got two. Try to write full sentence, na?
The culture of preparedness regarding disaster management.
Culture of preparedness, okay. And try, na? Sudeep says mainstream. No, what mainstream? See, Devanshu says mainstreaming. Like, make it more clear, na? More refined. So that try. Need not to worry. Like, if you have making a mistake, so that doesn't mean that any case you are less in your capacity and all, but try at least. Huh? Okay. So Devanshu says ki disaster education being imparted through schools. Rohit says disaster risk education and its extent. Okay. Okay. Prayag. Sudha, give your point of view. Sivam, what do you think? Like, what is the key demand? And when I'll say, this is a key demand. Okay, Prayag says mainstream school culture that fostered a preparedness and resilience. Sudeep says bring disaster education as an important aspects of the education. So I must confess here that I am not successful. Most of you have gotten an answer right. Most of you. So answer is, like, what is the key demand? Disaster risk education is not a key demand. Mainstream aspects, yes, Sivam, yes. So the key demand is mainstream. So key demand is mainstream. But mainstream of what? India's school curriculum. And how far the government has made attempt and got successful also in bringing disaster risk education into this curriculum. And not only this, like it has a two-part actually. And how these curriculum, after finding disaster risk education, made student to foster the culture of preparedness and resilience. Now we need to see the effectiveness also. So what is the key demand here actually is mainstream key demand is in a mainstream education, mainstream school curriculum, Okay, this is like a key demand. So we need to search different dimensions of the main school curriculum, and on these dimensions, what we need to do, we need to see how far government made an attempt to bring disaster risk reduction, and like after chalo government ne try kiya, and like then we need to counter its effectiveness also. We need to counter its effectiveness in terms of what? In terms of what? Preparedness and resilience among the students. Like how far it is become effective in fostering the culture of preparedness and the resilience in students. So we need to justify also. We need to justify on these ground also. Acha, I agreed. Yes or no? Tell
Yes.
me.
Yes, sir.
Like to decipher the real demand is quite typical, because I have two sessions. So one, those who are immediately writing their mains this time, I just had a session with them on the same question. I had a random questions actually. Their engagement is quite haphazard. They have a particular demand, and accordingly I design. So I just had a session. I did what I did, the same thing, and I prepared this dimensions. So the mainstream dimensions, this is like a mainstream curriculum, education curriculum in India. And it has many dimensions. Okay. It has many dimensions. So this is on a mainstream. Now what we need to do, first we need to find out the mainstream. So the first dimension is, in a mainstream we have an academic content. In academic content we have this is an academic content. Let us see. In academic content we have a core subject, and in the core subject we have a physics, chemistry, maths, and we have a science. So we need to see like how far the disaster risk education got some place in these subjects. Can we put disaster risk in mathematics? Yes or no? Disaster risk education can be incorporated in a mathematics curriculum? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Give me your point. How come? By
Forecasting.
giving,
By forecasting.
No. By giving
No.
certain examples from disaster risk.
Yes, sir. Geometry में use कर सकते हैं.
Geometry में कर सकते हैं, so that we can also give, if we have some arithmetic question is there, in place of asking sharing of pencil and all, we can see the probability of risk and of occurring of some disaster. So that way we can incorporate. So we need to see the core subjects. So that these core subjects are physics, chemistry, maths, we have suppose we have science. Let me put into black color. So we have a science. Then we have other subjects also, like arts subjects also. So in art subjects, okay, we can have a space. We can put this there in the. So we have some core subjects, and then we need to justify like how far disaster risk is it is chance to have an accommodation or not. Then we need to see the specific subjects. Like government has already introduced environment as one of the a specific theme-based subject. Management, health, safety. These are the now becoming some a new theme-based subject and got introduced. Like I had a talk with one of the student. He said, "Sir, now in masters also we have a unique courses are coming. Masters in sustainable development." No. What was that? Master in inclusivity. क्या था देवांशु? What was that subject? Sustainability science. Yes, yes. See, sustainability science. So yes, like this was made attempt. Now we need to tell. I'm just giving a hint that we need to first frame out what are the mainstream education we have, and then we need to see like how the disaster risk is embedded and how much, how far, and their success report also. Then we have a teaching dimensions. In teaching dimensions, there are teaching dimensions. In teaching dimensions, we have the methodology. So there we need to see how the methodology is useful, like how project works. Project works, है ना? Methodology is assigned related within a what a disaster risk. Then what activities are there in schools? Activity in the class which is causing student to acquire some sincere care about the disaster, right? Then we are taking some multimedia, like how multimedia means how visuals or like a storytelling, you know, storytelling, and then storytelling, okay, or we have some case studies. The way I used to give case studies, you might have seen I am having a special corner for disaster risk. So how these case studies related things are supported and incorporated in a teaching style. Then we have an experimental learning. Experimental learning means sometime in schools also we have a drills. Forget about schools. My coaching centers often I have noticed drills systems got incorporated, especially when we have a fire incident happened. So we have a drill system. Like we need to see how this much, how much they know the hazard mapping concept.
Yes.
That way we need to see. So this is like a second dimension of mainstream curriculum. Then we have the third dimensions of the mainstream curriculum. Okay. So we have a third dimensions of mainstream curriculum. Have I started recording? No.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then we have co-curricular activities. Co-curricular activities. Now, co-curricular activities means other than the like main core schooling functions. Main core schooling functions means like we have a field visit. I'm sharing in a very interesting part. My daughter is studying in one school. They said, ki, let us visit to the one nearby park. We have a very giant park outside Delhi. Some Japani park or like some government park is there. So they bring student to the park. I was also like got surprised. How come this park visit will going to make any sense? Then when she returned, I said, what you have learned in the park? She said, we got introduced in the park itself with the concept of water harvesting system. And like and then she said, like the park was designed in a manner so that whatever the rainwater will come, eventually it all going to collect in one corner. And there was one kind of the machine was there, like it used to drill and like let the water percolate there in the ground. So there was and then she started telling, like she is like primary school student, and she was open to the too many things, and things were so visual to her. She was not explaining out of the information she got fed, but like the things got open in the frame, and then she was looking the imaginary images, and then she was telling all the tilt was one side, so we need to make in a landscape like this way. Collection, no loss, no wastage. This is how the curiosity comes. So that is how the value of field visit we have. Then we have the student clubs also. In schools also we have some houses. The which houses are more caring about disaster. And then you might have seen in IPL also, when we have any dot ball, this sense of awareness is there in the cricket match too. When batsmen fail to score any run, then how is it going to be benefited to the environment? Anybody, any idea?
So repeat the questions. Last.
The question is, in IPL match, in the compact 20 overs of match, it is in a so much run scoring event, but sometime when the bowler deliver balls and batsmen fail to score run, then how this event will going to benefit the environmental cause? Any idea? Anybody, any idea? हाँ?
नॉइज पॉल्यूशन नहीं होता.
नहीं. तो okay, no idea. Okay, so the team batting, they have to put some money to plant a tree. Go and watch. If you see any match, final match, the scorecard comes like this way. We have 4, 6 trees.
Yes, sir. I have read about this. We
Yes,
have planted more than 1 lakh plants in now. 1 million plants.
the commitment the franchises make. You will going to put this much of the money for this much of the planting. So that is how we have the student clubs also. This way, the student clubs used to make this promises, so that eventually, like in this is a kind of a fun, but this fun makes people aware and like impart this as an habit. So that is how we have things like this way. Now, then we have other things also. We have an institutional. We have an institutional administrative dimensions. That is where the teachers' training comes. You know, school's own disaster plan comes. So then that is where the school's integration within a management companies comes. Like eventually different agencies, how the different agencies are working with the government. That is where the things comes. Then we have is age appropriate this attempt of the school's curricula. And what is an age appropriate? Suppose we have the primary school. So in primary schools, like how storytelling, how colors, how visuals are disaster risk related. Then if we have a secondary schools, in secondary school, how school drama is asking student to involve in a disaster risk related. In a senior secondary schools, how special attempts, project reports are causing the student to come and get engaged into disaster risk. Now this is how we need to first draft the mainstream education curriculum, and then one by one we need to see how far things are like a successful and failure. So I'll do what? I'll going to put in a point here, and then we're going to see the things are successful or not. So for example, if we have a physics, chemistry, science, now this is where government has made an amendment. How government has changed its curriculum. Earlier it was in we have a national curriculum framework of 2005 which was applicable. Now government has done what have changed in 2023, and now so that is how we have to say a national curriculum framework. You have to say now we have a 2023, and this 2023 is having a full of provisions, right? It has a full of provisions about the disaster risk education, and then you have to tell yes, it is adapted. And how it is because it is based on a new scientific thinking that way. Then you have to tell this way. You have to make another points also. Key special courses are yes. We have so many special dynamic, practical courses are given to the student to choose as one special subject. And then syllabus design is yes. We have the things that disaster management yes, there's symphony also. That is where we need to see how let us suppose if we have a teaching methodology is there. So we have yes, government has not compelled actually, curriculum has given a chance to use examples from, and this is where like what I am telling now, this all idea has been taken from your topic notes, case studies. So yes, examples local examples are used to let students realize and get connected with this. Experiment learnings are there in a teaching methodology. That way you have to tell all these things. Mock drills here, yes, mock drills are also, and this mock drills are though making fun, but like, yes, it let things like what sink in the students' mind for a long time. So that is how you have to tell. Then we have an institutional training, and this is where things are very successful. Institutional training. Now, where the schools are working with state disaster management program, this has added a capacity to the teachers also to learn and like demonstrate. Then we have a school committees also there where things are so arranged. This is all I'm telling and saying from your case studies. I'm not getting informed from other sources and putting to you all, but this is the idea I have derived. That is what I intend to tell. Avoiding case studies means avoiding a whole lot of things. Like you cannot justify your thought, opinion. Then we have an age appropriate. Acha, if we have the age appropriate, okay, we need to tell all preparedness, readiness, both. And then we have to say ki, like how far it is successful. Then there you have to say ki, okay, now sir, NGO and organization also helps under yes. Now we need to see everything from the curriculum, mainstream curriculum. So we need to tell ki yes, in schools we have a storytellings are there in the disaster based, but you have to tell also ki these are superficial, not in a in a literature form. Like it is only sometime in some stories, it is not so much concrete, right? So primary school students are, if it is superficial, they are little aware. They are not so like what adaptability is not there. They have a little opening, but not like about realization. That way you have to give a justice here, so that you can give some advice. Primary school is the most important core area. When we start feeding information right from there in a concrete way, they all will going to become an individual policy provider. That is where you have to give an alert also. Then secondary mein drama and all, you have to say yes, this is somehow successful, but if it is there in a more like a vernacular language, more within a local touch, it is going to make a more effective. This way also you have to say yes, we have this is successful because now it is becoming a career for some student if they have this type of things. Then you have to put this way field visit and all. So यहाँ पर ही बताना yes, NDMA, state disaster management. When you're going to read your disaster, your toffee notes, you'll find all these details given in your toffee notes. This like, so one by one you have to visit again and tell ki yes, government has done what, made a mini attempt through their right to education and national education program, where the ideology of Sendai Framework for Action is embedded in these all provisions also, and like also government of different states, NDMA, NCRT, they are all working in a coordination. All these points is there in your topic notes. They are all working the guidelines given by UNESCO, so that our local efforts, school efforts are getting connected with the global efforts. Okay, let us see again this question and let us see whether our attempt to understand the question and the framework have validated with the demand of the question or not. So let me read again and then we're going to see again this question. Question says, to what extent has disaster risk education been mainstreamed into India's school curriculum, and how effective has it been in fostering the culture of preparedness and resilience among the students? So are you all convinced with the content we have discussed now? This one? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And if you see any scope for further, we highlighted this preparedness and resilience also. Na? How far this program is successful in imparting this discipline to the students. Put your point, put your comment.
यस सर, ये कंटेंट सही है हमारे लिए।
Convinced हो है ना आप?
यस सर।
The content gives a reflection of the demand of the question. अच्छा ठीक है, okay. Tell me anything extra you want to put.
सर इसको अभी एक फ्रेमवर्क की तरह रखना आना चाहिए ना सर, लाइक
हाँ, अब now it is your chance to put as in a framework. So what you'll like, what is the most difficult part of writing this answer? The first is
इन
what?
सब इन
हाँ?
सब में सर इन सब में एक कनेक्शन बिठाना, जिससे हम एक पॉइंट से दूसरे पॉइंट को डायरेक्टली कनेक्ट कर पाए और समझ पाए।
The first task is to find out the real demand of the question, and then let this real demand to be open as in a dimension in the introduction. This introduction must open within these all dimensions. The mainstream education comprises of academic content, teaching dimensions, curricular activities, institutional administrative dimensions. That way you have to start. And government made a fair attempt, because government really had done too many things. So you have to make the government made a fair attempt. Now it is in a time, and the participation, we're going to justify the effectiveness in terms of the preparedness. Like, my point is, whatever the demand is there, you must give a hint there in the introduction, because first impression is the last impression. Don't introduce don't give definition. Disaster risk education. Disaster is an occurrence of unwarranted things, loss of assets, their probability is a risk, understanding is education. ये सब मत करना. Don't give definition, and don't give India's school curriculum. In 2005, it was like passed on the parliament, and recently it has come in 2023. ये report नहीं पूछ रहे वो आपसे, है ना? And what is preparedness and resilience, ये सब का definition मत देना आप, जो कर रहे हैं सब लोग.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, will you please explain the second part of this question?
So second part, how
That
effective it has been in fostering the culture of preparedness and resilience among the students. So, just say for example, when we're going to see, we need to see how far the experiment learning through drills and other things are effective. Is it effective if we have a drills?
Yes, sir, it is effective.
Yes, effective.
But how it foster the culture?
So it is effective, why? Because it is out of the odd things in a school, and as it is odd things, the odd things retain in the mind for the long. But what is it? How far it is successful? You have to tell these things are more common in a metropolitan schools. In a rural areas, superficially it has been treated because of and then you have to justify because of the reach of efficient institution. So it is, the learning is not as effective as it is in urban areas.
Okay, sir.
So now see, this question says how far, how effective, na? See, this is what is the word given. It is how effective. So as you said, drill is effective. Why it is effective? Because it is an odd thing out, and everything which is odd in our life, it is retained in our mind. जैसे आपको ही पता होगा ना, if you have something awkward thing happen to your life, you would be having a retention, but you will have to tell it is in a beautiful odd things which impart the habit. Student get worried and take into their habit, but you have to tell how far, how effective. It is effective in urban centers only, it does not have another way. Then you have to tell all these things. Okay, like effectiveness you have to justify, like you have to tell how curriculum is effective. We have to tell it's okay, it is effective, we have a uniformity of the language if it is in English, but like vernacular languages making the effectiveness uneven, and that is where your opinion will come. Regional languages, regional landscapes, and the state boards and their curriculum, sometimes is not so much aligned the way we have in a union schools led curriculum. So that way you have to make your assessment.
Just like sir,
Huh?
just like storytelling is effective, sir.
Storytelling is effective.
But that storytelling will create a curiosity that how this come again, then how can I, if I will be there, how can I manage this situation? So this curiosity can come in an effective manner. So shall we interpret this type of language or this type of example in this second part?
Yes, yes. We have to tell that storytelling is very effective. It develops a curiosity. But there is a problem within a storytelling. It is in the form of a story only. It is not in the write-ups.
Yes, sir.
You have to give this also. Yes, it is effective, but it is a kind of a superficial tool. It will has a more risk to get vanished next day. The government should come within some adapted, a new, like that way you have to give advice also.
Yes, sir. With the real-time visit also.
So that way, like storytelling should be in terms of something like what in a toys and all, like that way you have better idea than me. Sir, sir, mock drills and virtual technology. So mock drills, you have to tell mock drills needed to be very cyclical, in frequency should be increased, and it needed to be enter into remote villages, coastal villages where it is very much important. Coastal villages, so that way. Sir, can we mention infrastructure? Exactly. Yes, that's what I missed. Good, Sudeep. Well done. So can we mention infrastructure aligned to the disaster adapted intention, for example, in a northeast homes and build. Now, little bit it is different from curriculum, education curriculum. But infrastructure of the schools can be, it is not in a major part of the curriculum, because curriculum impart habits. Cultural part, yes. So curriculum is more about the human behavior. Infrastructure is more about the protection at the disaster time. So I hope this session has benefited you to open to the new things.
Yes, sir.
Acha, okay. Okay. Now let us before we conclude, let us do certain more exercise. How do you find this question valid? Do you find the possibility of such type of question needed to may come to the examination hall, exams in mains?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And can you write answer taking a help from NCERT or any publication in the market?
No, sir.
No, sir.
The only solution is your logical thinking and talking notes. And your talking notes, in the sense, I'm not kidding actually, but smile comes. And I am going to, this idea came at the session before your session I had. I must give you some question based on keywords. जैसे यहाँ पे keyword is what is in a mainstream education curriculum, so I must explain you the mainstream curriculum and the related questions, possible questions, and then ask you to write in a question answer. Will it going to be effective? Yes or no? Keywords to question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll see. So try writing answer, and before writing answer, the exercise booklet I have given you to do this
Yes,
also.
sir.